Yo, 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 we are live once again on Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I am your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. I got my boy Colin Brown on the ones and twos. So everyone say hi, Colin, in the comments section. And everyone as well, give me a stay golden because we are live here on the channel. Got a lot of fun content headed your way. We're going to go through a recap of the Saints offseason because I think it's been a little bit underrated. I personally believe the Saints are pulling off highway robbery and not enough people are talking about. We're also going to take an updated look at the depth chart. A lot of roster moves have happened since the last time we did this, so we got to take a new look at it. And, of course, we're going to do a mailbag. Use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat, and you'll get on the show. We got Sonia, we got Jerry G, we got Mr. Filmer, Rhett, Courtney, Jerry G, Derek, Maisha, Charles. Are my levels hot or am I tripping? Okay, I was saying, I thought I might be tripping. Maisha, what's going on, girl? Good to see you. Charles, giving me a stay golden. Mr. Filmer also gave me a hoot at US champ. Yo! Anthony, what's happening, my friend? Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun on today's video. I want you to let me know, what should the Saints do with Derek Carr? What do you think? What do you think? Brent saying, stay golden, pony boy. Shout out to the Outsiders. Colin, did you ever have to watch or read The Outsiders back in, like, what? I want to say, like, 8th grade or freshman year English.
I never did personally. Myself a little bit. I never did, but I've heard of it. So like I know the concept of The Outsiders, but I personally never read it.
Great movie. Has Johnny Depp in it, and it also has like a bunch of other random people who like turned out to be super duper famous. It's a banger. You should definitely watch it. I see Jerry G getting in a hashtag Saints. I see Dark Knight in the chat. He says, "Cut Derek Carr." What's going on, Dark Knight? How you doing, brother? I hope you are having a wonderful day. Jerry G saying hello to Colin. Colin, same thing, same difference. Same thing. Sea Breezy is the other nickname for him.
There we go.
No other nicknames. Mark says, please cut Carr. Courtney, cut Carr. Super Saints fans saying stay golden. Veterans have to lose their job first. You have to earn the starting job. That's fair. You have to earn the starting job. I read The Outsiders last year in 8th grade from Mr. Filmer. Good stuff, man. Brandon says Falcons suck, just in case there's any Falcons fans on here. Yeah, we will make sure to announce the fact that the Falcons suck, in case there are any people who have real estate by the New Orleans Saints in their noggins. Christopher says, trade him. Nito says, I saw the roster and O-line is huge. Put Derek Carr in the chat, or cut Derek Carr in the chat from Jerry G. David says, cut him. Super Saints fan says, Outsiders, one of my favorite movies. We're turning into Outsiders little day. It's pretty awesome. Gabe Davis was cut by the Jags. Yes, he was cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's actually an interesting name there. Colin, what are your thoughts on Gabe Davis?
I mean, he got, $2 million roughly per catch last year for, his entire contract. He was like, 3 for 39. He got 20 catches for like 230 yards. Sure. He is a really good blocking receiver, a guy that you would not want to be even really your wide receiver 2 or 3, to be honest. Yeah. But a guy can contribute. If you want to buy low candidate, a guy that's has size, he's had big games in the past. I still remember the divisional game against the Chiefs where he had 4 touchdown grabs. Like, he has moments, but in terms of like an actual productive receiver, I'm not sure we're getting that at this stage. But hey,
6'2", that would be useful for the New Orleans Saints. He would be on the bigger side of the Saints wide receiver group. That being said, I'm not like itching to go and sign Gabe Davis. There's a reason he was released.
100%.
I'm okay with that. Alrighty, it's showtime, baby. I saw Sonia say, get those likes up. Sonia knows ball. Sonia, way to be a smart Saints fan right there. Like the video if you're ready for showtime. We're going to be talking about the latest around the New Orleans Saints. Depth chart, updated look at that. We're going to go through the recap of the New Orleans Saints offseason. They pulled off highway robbery. I'm telling you right now, I think that they have absolutely fleeced the National Football League. They should not have let the Saints have such a good offseason. I think it's been underrated, so we're going to talk about it in great detail. We got to get to 50 likes, though. We're at 25. I want to get to 50 likes right this second. Come on. It's a like spike. I need you to hit the thumbs up icon. When we get to 50 likes, we're going to get this party rocking and rolling. Andrew, hello to you, my friend. Nito, thanks for keeping the comments rolling. Sonia saying like it. When you like the video, type me so that way I know who's a real one and who's a fraud. I want to know who the real ones are at. Like the video and type me if you're a real one.
We'll give some shout-outs here, too.
Yeah, Colin's going to give shout-outs to anyone who does it. Tim, What's going on, man?
We got Terrell, we got Young Hitta, we got Dark Knight, Derek Gleaston, Nito, we got No Love Matt, Jerry, Sonia. Give it that like button. There's
Come on.
People in the
Come
chat.
on. 15 more likes.
Let's go, man.
15 more likes. We got to get to 50.
Easy.
38. We only need 12 more.
12 more, baby. 12 more. We got Christopher, Troy, Jared G, Mr. Filmer, Rhett, John, Glenn, Jartavius, Matt, Mr. Filmer. 11 more likes.
Come on. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Don't be afraid. Toker J.
What up, brother?
Shout out to you, man. $1 super chat. Really appreciate you sending in that donation, homie. Hey, fist bump, brother. Fist bump. Fist bump to you, dog. 7 likes away. Come on. Mr. Filmer's liked the video. Queen Courtney's liked the video. Jordan James has liked the video. Andrew says, I love the content. Andrew, we love that you watch the content, my friend. Toker J, I appreciate that super chat. We're going to pull that up here in a little bit. Young Hitta says, bring A.T. Perry back. I would love to bring A.T. Perry back. I believe he's on, technically there is no practice squad right now, but he is on the Denver Broncos roster. I want to pull up the Broncos depth chart, actually. And I want to see kind of where he is, because I'm not very familiar with the Broncos, admittedly. So right now, he is on the lower end of their depth chart. And right now, I am telling you, I would take him back in a heartbeat. I would take him back in a heartbeat. I don't know why Dennis Allen thought he was smarter than everyone else and cut that guy. Dennis Allen's a fraud. What a loser. You know who's not a loser? Toker J. He's an absolute legend. He's a winner, and he is my homie. Fist bump, Toker J. Ow, dude. Just punch the desk.
Dude, you don't even know your own strength.
No, dude, I just punched the desk. That's ridiculous. All righty. We're going to get into a mailbag pretty soon. 53 likes. Thank you guys so much for getting the audience participation through the roof. We're going to be answering questions here in a little bit. So use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat like Toker1J. If you do send in a super chat, we'll spend a little extra time on your question. We'll show you a little bit of extra love. Where is Lopez? He is actually on another show because NBA playoffs are in full swing and he is helping out the NBA side of stuff. So we are blessed with C Breezy. Loco Lopez will be back at some point in time, but for the time being, he has other duties to deal with here at Chat Sports, but he's not going anywhere. He's going to be back with us for the football season. Don't you worry about it. We're still going to have all the fun with Loco Lopez. But for what it's worth, don't sleep on my guy C Breezy. This dude's a legend. This dude's a freaking legend. I absolutely am honored and super pumped up that Colin Brown's hanging out with us. I'm also pumped up that we have 87 people rocking and roll with us here on Saints Now Live. So without further ado, Colin, whenever you're ready, pipes are lathered. Let's talk about some New Orleans Saints news and rumors. I believe that Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis have pulled off highway robbery. They have made some really, really good moves so far in this offseason. And honestly, we're in the back end of the offseason, and there are still moves that could be made. But throughout all of the things that the Saints have changed from last year's team to this year's team, I think it has been very underrated and very under the radar, and it hasn't been getting nearly enough respect. So really quick, an offseason recap of what I want to dive into today. 9 new draft picks. The Saints had 9 selections going into the draft. They made all 9 selections. They also signed 11 undrafted free agents. They also traded for a player, signed a handful of guys in free agency, put some other players on new contracts. They have an entirely new coaching staff. And I still think, despite all of this happening, maybe there's still some big moves to come. But really fast, I want to get your prediction. What's your Saints record prediction for next year? 6 wins, 7 wins, Colin? I think that might be feeling okay about that. I don't know. I need you to help me out. Take a look into your crystal ball. Predict the Saints record. So let's start draft here. I want to kind of move from most recent to less recent. So we're going to start with the draft, end with the coaching stuff. Now, I think the Saints made some good draft picks altogether. The Tyler Shough one did make me scratch my head a little bit at 40 overall. I think it could have gotten him later. That being said, I am not going to knock the player. I am not going to knock the decision because I want to see Kellen Moore get to work with them. However, these 5 players on screen, I think were really, really great draft picks. Kelvin Banks is an awesome selection. He will shore up the offensive line. Danny Stutsman, tremendous value in round 4. Same with Quincy Riley. I think that those are 2 players that day one can walk in and make a big impact. That's the same thing with Devin Neal in round 6. This is a player who has had 3 consecutive seasons of over 1,000 rushing yards for the Kansas Jayhawks, a great leader on and off the field. And Fadil Diggs, a really productive pass rusher out of Syracuse. He was a 7th-round selection. I think all of those are really, really good value. And to be honest, with the Saints draft as a whole, you got great value across the board outside of maybe Tyler Shough, and you address needs. The Saints had question marks around the quarterback position going into the draft. You got a quarterback. Saints had question marks around the offensive line. You added depth there. Saints had question marks around the defensive line. You added there. Linebacker, you added depth. Cornerback, you added depth. You added high-end players. You added depth players. You did a really, really good job of helping reconstruct this roster, because going into this offseason, you knew you needed to make some changes, and this was going to be a multi-year ordeal. So I'm really glad to see the Saints doing that and embracing it this year. Now, I also want to say this. I do believe the undrafted free agency class has a little bit of juice too. I'm really excited about James Burnip, the Aussie punter from Alabama. He was not drafted, but we had him ranked as our highest rated punter in this year's class. He's definitely going to give Matt Hayball a run for his money. A former SEC punter from Australia battling a former SEC punter from Australia would be definitely interesting. Jasheen Davis, an edge rusher from Wake Forest, very, very productive. Moochie Dixon, great name, even better player. Tyreen Powell, the Rutgers linebacker. Chris Tyree, a wide receiver out of Virginia. And then Marcus Yarns, the Delaware running back. I think that just to name a few of those players do have the opportunity to have an impact on the roster. And we all know that the Saints have had a history of adding undrafted free agents and those players making a big impact. And look, I think all in all, this is really, really good news. And maybe you don't love the names. Maybe you're still questioning the decisions and the picks. And I think that that's totally fair. But for what it's worth, you should be happy about one thing, or two things. One, the Saints got younger. Two, the Saints got cheaper. Those are two things the Saints needed to do this offseason, and they did that. And look, I think that this draft class and this undrafted free agency class is a little bit underrated. You know, it's fair to say that there are some players that we will not see the real benefits of that pick for a handful of seasons. But, you know, full transparency, I also think you have some guys that really will be great players, and you're going to look back in a few years and be like, holy cow, how did we get them not on day 1 or 2? Like, these are really, really good players who have been tremendous additions. The big thing, though, the big caveat, and I want to make that very, very clear, they got to pan out. Saints draft picks historically and high-value picks have not panned out as much. They need to start doing that. So that's the big if. If they pan out, this, I think, undrafted free agency class and draft class will look back and be like, wow, what a great first draft for Kellen Moore. Now, I want to encourage you to subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports, and you'll get more Saints videos by fans for fans. And for what it's worth, if you are not a part of the Noti gang, what are you doing? What the hell are you thinking? We got the Golden Gang. That's the subscribers. But join the Noti gang, too. That's an even more elite group here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. I hope you guys turned on your notifications, set them to all, so that way you never miss a video, a live show, or any other great content we do. Now, in terms of the trades, the New Orleans Saints did not trade any players away this offseason. I'm pumped about that. I love it. I'm happy. I think that was a really, really good decision. They did, however, bring in Devon Godshaw, the Louisiana native, big-bodied, run-stopping, nose tackle. And I think that in terms of the trade that you did was really good value. I mean, he's a veteran, experienced player who's done some good things in the past. You got him for a 2026 7th-round pick. You didn't touch any draft capital this year. You touch a 7th next year, fine. Whatever. Okay, I'm okay with that. You still got all picks 1 through 6, or rounds 1 through 6 next year. I'm okay with this. And Devon Godshaw is going to be a big addition because the Saints suffered at stopping the run. They were terrible at it last year. This guy, he helps that. A lot of the draft picks actually help address that. A lot of them are run-stopping specialists or players who excel against the run, who are not just really, really good against the pass or really good against coverage. They're versatile and have a lot of different skills to their game. And to be honest, like, I love this homecoming, but I love more so that the Saints only made one trade. You didn't offload any players that you really wanted to keep around that are fan favorites. You didn't have to lose any guys and get crappy return in value just because you needed to offload those contracts. I love that the Saints only made one trade. I think the Saints will not make any trades moving forward, but that doesn't mean that they won't. So we'll see what happens. All in all, I really, really love so far how the offseason has panned out in terms of a roster building standpoint, but we got more to discuss here in a second. I want to encourage you to buy the dang hat. What are you doing? I mean, come on. How many more times we got to tell you about this hat? It's only on sale for a little bit longer. I mean, what? Colin, 25% off. How could you not want this hat? It's the most popular hat on Saints hats across all the Fanatics. And it's 25% off, dude. Is that not absolutely sick? Think about it this way. With those kind of savings, you can not only buy this hat, but you can also go to your favorite bar and get yourself a round. You're going to spend the money anyway. You might as well make two investments instead of one. Chatsports.com/Saints hats. We also have a lot of other lids available for you. Use the link in the comments description of this video. All right, back on track here. We talked about the roster being built from the draft standpoint and the trades, but of course, free agency, that part was really, really underrated. They were smart spenders, and they added high-end talent and depth, similar to the draft. You added players who can contribute as starters immediately if they needed to, but you also added players who, if they don't need to start immediately, could be really nice depth and be ushered into those starting roles. Now, in terms of notable free agency moves, the Saints were active in free agency, but these were the most notable either re-signings or additions. Chase Young, thought was a really, really smart move to bring him back. Same with Juwan Johnson. A lot of people disagree with the 3-year, $30 million contract. I actually think that's totally fair in terms of the money. It's very average and tight end contracts, to be honest. Justin Reid, what a freaking addition. I loved that signing. I am so pumped to reunite him and the Honey Badger and bring it back to Louisiana. Isaac Yiadom, he comes back to Louisiana, back on the New Orleans Saints after a short stint with Brandon Staley in San Francisco, so it'll be nice to have some familiar faces there. Brandin Cooks, another familiar face, and Dillon Radunz, an interior offensive lineman, and who honestly has versatility to play anywhere. And, you know, there's a lot of discourse and there's a lot of chatter that the Saints should not have brought back Juwan Johnson, or they should not have brought back Chase Young, or, you know, some of that money could have gone elsewhere. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the Saints actually saved money by bringing back Juwan Johnson and Chase Young. Now, they both had void years on their contracts, and they did not have to pay that money up front because of the void years. They were able to push it back a little bit because the contract didn't end this year or end next year. They got more years on the contract. So this actually ended up saving them money, or saving the Saints money, and it brought back two players at positions of need. Juwan Johnson was one of the best tight ends available in free agency. Chase Young was one of the best edge rushers available in free agency. You brought them back to New Orleans. I'm really okay with those moves. And I also want to say shout out to Cam Jordan and Tyrann Mathieu. They're playing on reworked contracts as well. They're cheaper deals. They're less money. And just Saints legends. I mean, they're doing it for the city. They're doing it for the culture. They're doing it for the team. Because at the end of the day, these guys, they're not just football players. They're a part of the city. They're a part of the fan base. They're a part of the culture of Louisiana. And so the fact that the cap hits are are lower than originally they were makes me really happy. And look, you're not paying a lot of top dollars to some of these guys. You're really not making massive investments. I mean, on screen right here, really not all that much money when you really consider 8 players. Not too much of an investment. And it's a lot of starters, and it's a lot of players who can give you some really good production. Justin Reid for less than $4 million. Are you kidding me? That is unbelievable. Juwan Johnson's only making $5.24 million in 2025. That's amazing. And right now, the Saints actually have about $27 million in cap space. And that's because the Saints were smart with their contracts. Sure, you didn't want to restructure Derek Carr. That being said, it's the only thing that you were able to do to get to cap compliance. The Saints had to restructure Derek Carr. That was the only move they had available. But they still are cap compliant. And guess what? You can still cut Derek Carr and be under the cap too. That's what's crazy. So what move should they make next? They made a lot of moves to change the roster. They made a lot of moves to improve the team. But what move should they make next? I want to hear from you. I have 2 moves that we should consider. 1 is going to be Derek Carr, and 2 is going to be Taysom Hill. Now, these 2 players are the most expensive contracts on the books in 2025 for New Orleans. Derek Carr carries a $20.5 million cap hit. Taysom Hill, almost $18 million, Colin. Last year under contract for New Orleans. And so let's first talk about Taysom Hill, and then we'll talk Derek Carr. So the conversation around cutting Taysom Hill is one that we've had here on the channel. It's one that Ross Jackson's had. It's one that a lot of people have talked about, and it's caused a lot of discourse. The money is definitely expensive for Taysom Hill. If you cut him in 2025 as a post-June 1 cut, $10 million is saved. That's not insignificant. For what it's worth, you don't actually have to cut Taysom Hill. You could just leave this contract alone, let him do its thing. For what it's worth, he's still recovering from an injury. He likely won't be able to return until October anyway. So, the big question is he going to be a part of Kellen Moore's offense? The answer should be yes, but if he's not, then the Saints can save $10 million. That's, worth mentioning. Now, let's go back to Derek Carr here. He has not been in attendance for voluntary offseason programs. However, he has been in New Orleans. He's met a couple times with team doctors at facilities in regards to the shoulder injury. And if you were to make him a post-June 1 cut, you would owe him $20.5 million. That would be a $20.5 million cap hit this year. No matter what, I think that that's the thing you got to do. I just think that that's the smart plan. You drafted Tyler Shough early. You still have to see what you got in Spencer Rattler. This is a new coaching regime. This is a new era of Saints football. The guys who brought Derek Carr here, they are no longer in the picture anymore. So for me personally, I think that cutting Derek Carr is the right move. And if you do cut Derek Carr, I think that this would make my offseason a little bit better. But all in all, I gave the offseason for the New Orleans Saints an A- grade. Again, it's not like super duper flashy moves, but you peel the curtain back a little bit. You really think about what the Saints have done, and you realize, oh, shit, this is actually not a bad offseason. And then you also take into consideration all of the new coaching staff hires, bringing in Bo Davis, bringing in Brandon Staley as a defensive coordinator, who, for what it's worth, last time he held that role, had the number 1 defense in the National Football League, and the Rams won a Super Bowl. You brought in a new offensive coordinator. You have a new young offensive mind who is a quarterback, who is successful at the college football ranks, who has climbed the coaching ranks in the National Football League very quickly. I think all of these things considered, the Saints have had a really good offseason. And they haven't made super flashy moves. That's the theme of this video. It hasn't been flashy. It hasn't been sexy. They haven't had a big splash trade or anything like that. But real ones know that the moves they've made thus far have been really good. And real ones know that they ain't done yet. So that's why you got to subscribe here to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to be giving you guys content anytime there is new updates around the black and gold. And, of course, we're going to be here every step along the way until this season is here. So y'all stay golden. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Boom. What do you think, Colin? Is that how shitty was that segment?
No, I think you made some good points, man. Listen, obviously you follow the Saints better than I do. Yep. So I've kind of, didn't know the ins and outs of everything that the Saints have done this offseason. But overall, going into this offseason, there was a lot of uncertainty with the quarterback position. Were they going to bring back guys like Juwan Johnson, Chase Young, etc.? Yeah. And to be honest, again, bringing a new head coach, Kellen Moore, it's never easy to, kind of usher in a new era, so to speak. And the Saints, I thought they really did a lot of things well. And like you said, They're not done yet.
Sure.
Derek Carr is still on this roster as of right now.
Sure.
If you had to give it a percentage out of 100 that he's on the Saints roster come the beginning of the 2025 NFL season, where would you rank it?
I would say it's 5% he's on the roster. I say it's 1% he's the week 1 starter.
That's fair.
I could see it being we're going to throw Rattler out for 2 weeks. Carr will come back week 3. And then after that, it's the Shough show. But I think it's about a 5% chance he's on the roster week 1. I just don't see a world. There is a world. I just don't see how it makes sense for the Saints to do that. And if they do move on from Derek Carr, then you're going to have a need at quarterback. You're going to a veteran. You need a veteran guy just in case shit hits the fan, because otherwise it's Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, and that's horrifying actually to think about out loud. So yeah, you definitely bring back Teddy 2 Gloves. That could happen. Brent says a big body wide receiver is a must. I actually disagree. I put out a video that disagreed with that, and it's actually doing pretty well. It's Brent. I'm going to send you a link here. I need you to click this. Not right, or maybe yeah. But I think the Saints have a secret weapon, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. So what I want you to do, click the link that I just dropped in the chat, pause the video, and then after this live show, you can see what I'm saying. Because this video is very, very informative. I think the Saints have a secret weapon that not a lot of people are talking about. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to click on the link to find out who it is. That's called called a good sell right there.
Yeah.
That's called a good sell.
That's what we call in the business a tease.
Yes, a tease. An appetizer, if you will.
There we go.
An appetizer.
Appetizer.
Young Hidda talking about Isaiah Foskey. Well, he did just get married for what it's worth. That's pretty cool. John L. Davis. Has anyone said Carr's not coming back? Yeah, his shoulder is hurt, but I have not heard he has gone for surgery yet. He actually is trying to avoid getting surgery. He does not want to get surgery, John L. Davis. We put out a video this morning about that. Colin and I got into the stew bright and early, and we have there's a lot of details, a lot of information, and then, what are all of the options for the Saints. So if you want to check that one out, it's on the channel as well. So I highly encourage you to look at that one.
If you're in the part of the Noti gang, man, I mean, that's the kind of information you'll be
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah. If you were part of the Nutty Gang, you would know all of this information because we have been putting out videos all day. Jaden, hope you're doing well, my friend. David says, let Alvin Kamara go. David must be trying to sign Alvin Kamara to his team. Would y'all want Carr to play? No, I'm good. I'm over the Derek Carr era. I'm done. I don't want any more of that, Colin.
Yeah.
I've had a taste of Derek Carr, and quite frankly, I hate the taste of it. I don't want any more. What did you say? It was like
this morning.
What was your analogy? Colin, hit him with some cold hard facts here.
So basically, after we filmed this morning's video, I turned to Trace and I'm basically like, they're a married couple that doesn't sleep in the same beds anymore. Derek Carr and the Saints.
Yep.
They're not officially like, hey, they filed the paperwork. They're not even like, hey, one of them's gonna stay with like a family friend for a while, but they're sleeping in different beds.
Yep.
That's what it is right now.
Yep. No, that's totally fair. Rhett DeBois, what's going on, my friend? Rhett actually asking a great question, and it's a great transition into what we're going to discuss. Rhett, we're going to take an updated look at the depth charts. The running backs are the second group that we're going to discuss. So, can we just show him?
You want to show him?
Yeah. He paid his cold hard cash to see what's up with the running back room. Rhett, we're going to take a look at the updated running back depth chart. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. Here it is. Alvin Kamara is your running back 1. Kendre Miller still is on the roster. You moved on from Jamal Williams, which was a move that was very expected. He has not signed yet, for those wondering. Devin Neal, drafted in round 6 of the 2025 NFL Draft. I think he was a big-time steal. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on the roster. Xavier Valade. You signed Velus Jones Jr., who does offer positional versatility as a running back and receiver. Jordan Mims is on the roster from last year as well, and Marcus Yarns is an undrafted free agent out of Delaware. So right now, that is how the running back room looks. Rhett, I hope I answered your question. If you have any other questions, let me know. I think right now it's like a decent unit. If the O-line can stay healthy, better. And if Kendre Miller can actually stay on the field and be available on game days, then we're in a really, really, really good spot.
Yeah, Devin Neal was one of my favorite picks of the 2025 NFL Draft. I thought he could go as high as potentially round 3, round 4, and to get him in the 6th. Yeah. Absolute steal. I think he's going to be really talented.
Me too.
Also, Velus Jones has a little bit of returnability.
Yes, he does have special teams versatility there too, which will be nice. I still don't understand why people are so adamant on signing Gabe Davis.
He's the fresh name, right? He was the newest name on the free.
Yeah, no, he's the new name. He's the new toy.
The real
deal Neal. Dude, Rhett, that's great.
That's great stuff right there.
Great nickname. Real deal Neal. I love that. That's cool.
Real deal Neal. I mean, that just rolls off the tongue.
We might need to get those, we need to get t-shirts or something like that. That's sick. I'll tell you what, Rhett, if we make Real Deal Neal t-shirts, I'm sending you one. I don't know about Gabe Davis. Keenan Allen, sure. I think I'm going to pass on Gabe Davis, to be totally honest.
I mean,
Queen Courtney, I love you, girl. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, if you want to vet minimum sign him, hey, bring him in, have him compete. Nothing wrong with that. Cut him in preseason if he doesn't work out. That's fine. But, yeah, his days of being anything close to a number 2 receiver are way
Yes. Very, very past. All righty. Rhett. So we showed you the running back room. Y'all mind if we show you the rest of the depth charts? What do you think? We got a lot of positions to go through. We got a lot of positions. All righty. Let me take a sip of water. What position group are you most excited to see right now? What position group are you most excited to see an updated look at? I'm curious. What position group are you most excited to see? U.S. Champ says, break it down, Trivy. Jartavius, show it. Wide receiver from Jaden. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and then we'll get into it. Tight end from Toker1J. All right. We'll start with quarterbacks, and then we'll go running back, receiver, tight end, O-line, D-line, linebacker, corner, safety, special teams. So, ready to roll? Colin, let me get up my timer. Oh, I got to pull up. Hold on. I got to pull up my my sponsor script. Don't tell Brett. It's the same from the draft, right? The 2000, you have a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. That's sick. I looked at it earlier. I just was like, I need to quadruple check because I forgot to. I triple checked. I didn't quadruple check. Just big miss on my part. Alrighty, Trizzy's stalling. Let's get into it. We're done stalling. Don't call me Joseph. What's going on, Saints fans? In today's video, we're going to go through an updated look at the depth charts because the last time we did this exercise, 2025 draft, didn't happen. Some roster moves hadn't occurred yet. We didn't have any undrafted free agents. So now we're going to take an updated look at the 2025 Saints depth chart after the draft. So I want you to beat the books for me, though. Right now, the over-under is set at 5.5 wins for the total for New Orleans. What do you think is going to happen? Over or under? Type O for over, type U for under. I'm spamming my O's. What's happening, Who Dat Nation? Thank y'all so much for tuning into today's video. Shout out to everyone in the Golden Gang. If you're not a part of the Golden Gang, subscribe today and you will get that shout out. So let's just waste no more time. Let's get right into the depth chart. We're going to start off with the quarterback room. Obviously, Derek Carr, at the time of filming this video, Wednesday, May 7th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. This was a part of our weekly live shows. Derek Carr is still on the roster as we speak. Post June 1, maybe that conversation is different. But for right now, he is on the roster. Tyler Shough is QB2, Spencer Rattler at QB3, and Jake Haener is the fourth quarterback. The Saints did cut Ben DiNucci a handful of weeks ago. So right now you're rolling with 4 passers of the football. And right now I do expect the Saints to cut Derek Carr. All roads are leaning towards that being the situation. I just don't see a world where Carr is their quarterback week 1. Colin even asked me before we started this video, is like, what percentage chance, if you had to guess, is Derek Carr on the roster? And what percentage chance is he the starter week 1? I said 5% he's on the roster week 1, 1% he's the starter week 1. So I expect the Saints to cut Derek Carr. I wouldn't be very, very shocked if they kept him. However, I think this is a move that will wait till post June 1st. Let's go to the running back group. Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller. Those are your 2 lead backs. Jamal Williams was cut earlier in the offseason. Devin Neal, drafted in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL draft. And then you also brought in Velus Jones Jr., who offers positional versatility. He can line up as a running back. He can line up as a receiver. And he also has special teams ability. You got CEH, you got Jordan Mims, and then Marcus Yarns, the running back out of Delaware, was an undrafted free agent. And look, I think when it comes to the running back 2 position, there is some serious competition there. Devin Neal is not a stiff. He's not a bum. The fact that he fell to the 6th round is actually ridiculously insane. This is a player who had 3 straight seasons of 1,000+ rushing yards. He has all of the abilities and the tools to be a workhorse. He has all of the abilities to be a receiving running back as well. And so if Kendre Miller is not ready to go, if he's not prepared, if he's hurt, his roster spot and his position on the depth chart is very at risk. So I think that the running back 2 position battle is very, very real. It's very, very on. And at the end of the day, the winner is us Saints fans because we get the better back getting those snaps. Wide receiver, let's take a look there. Because in the pass catcher department, I don't think this is going to be the final look. I think you're actually going to add another wide receiver to this group. Chris Olave is the wide receiver one. If he can stay healthy, I'm expecting a big season from him with Kellen Moore as the head coach. Brandin Cooks brought back in free agency. It's nice to see him back in the black and gold. A nice veteran, a speedster who can add some downfield ability to Rashid, the need for speed. Shaheed is a player I'm super, super excited to see. Season cut short last year due to injury, but I'm a big fan of number 22. Bub Means, do not sleep on that player right there. Moochie Dixon as well. And then you got Dante Pettis. He was brought back in free agency. And the New Orleans Saints also have Mason Tipton, who was an undrafted free agent last year. And then, of course, the Saints also have Chris Tyree, an undrafted free agent from this class. Now, I do think the Saints could look to add another wide receiver. Players that come to mind, Gabe Davis was recently cut. I think the days of him being a wide receiver 2 or 3 are past him, but a 6'2" wide receiver that is available nonetheless. Keenan Allen is another name to keep an eye out for. Amari Cooper, that's another name that could be signed, but don't sleep on the secret weapon. I made a full video about this. It's linked in the comments and description of the show. But Bub Means, 6'2", 215 pounds. Weirdly and eerily similar size profile and more athletic and more explosive than A.J. Brown, according to the pre-draft measurables and the combine results. In very limited snaps last year, Bub Means was a nice contributor. His name got called whenever the Saints wide receiver group started being decimated by injuries, and I think he made the most of his limited opportunities. I'm really, really, really pumped up to watch Bub Means this season. Now, lock us into Saints Now by Chat Sports to stay updated on all things black and gold. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We're chipping away every single video. Can we get 50 people to join the Golden Gang today? Who knows? Help me out. Subscribe for daily Saints videos by fans for fans. Let's go to the tight end group. This is an interesting squad here. Now, Foster Moreau, he suffered a knee injury in the final 2 minutes of the season last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was carted off the field. Recently seen working out with Tyler Shough. He had a knee brace on his knee, so he's moving around. He's on his feet. That's a good sign there. That being said, he did suffer an injury at the very end of last season. We have yet to see if he's fully ready to roll. Taysom Hill also dealing with a serious knee injury. Not sure when he's going to be available to return, but Juwan Johnson is a player I'm really excited about this year. You also brought in Jack Stoll. You drafted Maliki Matavau. Dallin Holker is still around, and then you got Trayton Welch and Michael Jacobson on the depth chart as well. And look, I'm going to just hone in on Juwan Johnson here. The Saints need to maximize him. They need to get the most out of Juwan Johnson. Part of that is on the New Orleans Saints and the coaching staff in terms of scheming plays up for him. Part of that is on the quarterback, whoever's throwing the pill. But also a big, big, big part of that is on the player. Put it together all season long. Be a consistently good and reliable target. Prove why you got a 3-year, $30 million contract. It's not a super outlandish deal. And look, if he puts up good production, that contract immediately becomes a massive, massive steal. So let's go now to the trenches where the money is made. Shout out to the big boys, fatties only. I love me some offensive linemen. Kelvin Banks, I actually think will be the starting left tackle. And then I think you kick Talese Fuaga back to his natural position at right tackle. Last year, Trevor Penning, he took over as the right tackle. Talese Fuaga was the left tackle. I think that they just switch back. And then Penning can be a swing backup tackle for whoever needs it. I do think Dillon Radunz will be the starting guard, but you also have the ability to go, let's say, Fuaga and Penning as your tackles, and then maybe it's Kelvin Banks at the left guard spot, or maybe it's Banks and Fuaga with Penning at the guard spot. So, my point being, I'm just really curious how this offensive line is going to shape up. There's a lot of different routes that Kellen Moore could go with this group, and the big, big thing for me here is I think that this is actually a nice situation for the offensive line. They're very young. The Saints have invested a lot of premium draft capital in the trenches, especially on the offensive side of the football. And if the Saints offensive line can stay healthy and can live up to expectations, that is a really, really good unit for the foreseeable future. And I get it. The sexy picks have not been made over the last few seasons in round one, but we finally might be able to reap those benefits and see exactly why the Saints invested in the offensive line and in the trenches. Now, I want to give a shout-out to Prize Picks before we get to the defensive side of the football. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your guacamole. Now, I don't know too much about the hardwood. I'm not much of a basketball guy, and hoops is not my specialty, but I'm a big, big football guy, and I'll tell you what, I got some season-long projections cooked up for you. We're going to speak it into existence. This is finally going to be the year the Chiefs start to have a regression, and this is going to finally be the year Patrick Mahomes has a bad year. I'm tired of it. We're prize picking it into existence, Colin. Taking the less on Patrick Mahomes. I'm also going to take the less on Saquon Barkley. Kellen Moore is no longer there. The Eagles offensive coordinator who made that offense so great, who coached all of the talent, he's in New Orleans. So I'm taking the less on Saquon. And I also think DK Metcalf could actually hit the more, especially considering the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, just traded away George Pickens. Are you kidding me? You better beat the books here. You better go and beat Prize Picks because I know that number is going to change. So if you want to fade my picks, if you want to tail my picks, I don't care what you do. Just make sure you do it with Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday and Flex Friday. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the bonus. It's guaranteed. Shout out to Prize Picks. Run your game. All of that information is in the comments and description of this video. Now, the 5-man front is the offensive line group that I think we'll see most of. However, you also will see a 4-man front. Brandon Staley and Bo Davis are going to be implementing a new look and a new scheme along the defensive line. And here's how the 5-man front, in my opinion, will shake out. You traded for Devon Godshaw. He's going to be your starting nose tackle, a really nice run stopper that'll, command a lot of attention in the middle of the field. Carl Granderson and Chase Young, I think, are going to be your 2 outside edge rushers, with Brian Brzee and Cam Jordan being the interior defensive ends, if you will. But then you got guys like Isaiah Foskey who could potentially really benefit from this new scheme and this new team, or this new look defense. Vernon Broughton was a draft pick by the New Orleans Saints. And then, of course, you also had a handful of drafted free agents. You signed Chris Rumph. You brought in Jonah Williams, among some other players too. And like I already said, the Saints will have different looks along the defensive line. You'll look at some 3-4. You'll look at some 4-man fronts. You'll look at 5-man fronts. You'll see a lot of different things. The Saints defense is going to be more modern. It's going to be more it's going to be more set, and it's going to be more, I'm sorry, what was it? Multiple. It's going to be more multiple. That's the word I'm looking for. And what I mean by more multiple is it's going to be able to stop the run. It's going to be able to put pressure on the passer. It's going to be able to, defend deep, defend up close. You're going to have different looks for different situations and different scenarios. And I think that this defensive coaching staff is really going to be able to unlock all of that and make it happen. Let's go to linebackers now. Pete Werner, Demario Davis, those are going to be your starting 2 linebackers. Again, this is also kind of, along the lines if you're doing you got your 5-man front, and then you got a couple linebackers, and then you got a couple 5 DBs or 4 DBs. Like, I think it's just going to be depending on what it is. But Pete Werner, Demario Davis, they will be on the field just about every snap. Danny Stutsman will be getting a lot of action as well. I think DeMarco Jackson should take another step this year. But a player I'm actually excited to watch is Anthony Orji as well. I'm a big fan of his game, and he's a friend of the show, trying to get him onto the program sometime. So, Anthony, if you're watching, hey, hit me back, brother. Let's get you on the program. Jalen Ford was a 5th-round pick last year, and Isaiah Stallbird was a free agent, or an undrafted free agent they added last year as well. But then you also have Tyreen Powell as an undrafted free agent this year. So in terms of the linebacker group, Pete Werner, you better watch your back because Danny Stutsman is waiting in the shadows. I am so pumped up to watch the Oklahoma Sooner. The OU product is a very exciting player. He plays with a lot, his hair on fire. He plays with a lot of swagger, a lot of intensity. He plays with a lot of energy. He is a hard-hitting machine. He's a linebacker that rocks the neck brace. So you know what that means, Colin. It means he's a little bit crazy in the best ways possible, and that's the kind of player that I want in the linebacker group. So Pete Werner, I think, could be pushed and challenged for one of the lead linebacker roles, especially with Demario Davis. You know, his career will end at some point. Despite him aging like fine wine every single year. It seems like he gets just more and more fit every offseason. It's insane. I'm excited to watch Danny Stutsman. That was one of my favorite picks in the entire draft class. I'm so pumped up to watch this guy play. Let's look at the cornerbacks. Isaac Yiadom. He is back in New Orleans. Kool-Aid McKinstry in year 2. I cannot wait to see what he is capable of. And Alontae Taylor, I think, will be the starting nickel. And as of right now, I know you're looking at it and you're probably thinking, what the hell? Why is Quincy Riley not a starter? Well, because I think walking into training camp, Isaac Yiadom is your starting corner. But I think that it's not too far out there to say at the end of training camp, maybe it's actually Quincy Riley. You also have Rico Payton, you have Ugo Amadi, you have Trey Flellen, you have Rajon Wright, the last chance you legend, and then you got Dallas Barnum, who was signed as an undrafted free agent as well, who does offer special teams versatility too. Goodness gracious. Tongues getting twisted left and right. The cornerback room is very young and very exciting. There's a lot of nice talent. There's a lot of players that you can get very excited about. Alontae Taylor is an extremely disruptive defensive back. I am a big fan of Uno. I am really pumped to watch another year of Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I think Quincy Riley is going to be a fan favorite very quickly in New Orleans. But I do have to say this, I am nervous. There's not a lot of experience there. There's not a lot of veteran talent there. Pretty much it's just Isaac Yiadom. It's very young, which is exciting, and it's nice, and that's what it needed to be, but I am nervous. I would like to go and add another corner. I have a name in mind, and it's Asante Samuel Jr. I don't know how he's still available. Injuries are what seems to be the issue with there, and so maybe the Saints can get him on a pretty cheap contract. Who knows? But what do you guys think? Would you sign Asante Samuel Jr.? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know in the comment section. I'm all in on doing this. I think it would be a really smart deal, especially if you can make it for a relatively cheap contract considering the injury. Let's go to the safety room. Justin Reid, in my opinion, one of the best additions the Saints made this offseason. I don't know why they did it. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why Justin Reid agreed to come back home. But I can tell you right now, I'm super grateful that he did. Pairing him back up with Tyrann Mathieu for the 3rd time in their career will be very fun to watch. You got Jordan Howden. You got Jonas Sanker, who you drafted early in the 2025 NFL draft class, and Millard Bradford. They called him Nuke back at TCU. He's back with the New Orleans Saints. JT Gray, one of your special team, or your special teams ace. Let me just say this. Safety group, I think, is very underrated. Do not sleep on the safety group. Justin Reid is still in the middle of his prime. Tyrann Mathieu, sure, he's getting older. The production's going down. He's losing his step. Those are all very true. But he's a very intellectual player, and he's a player with very high instincts, and he can rely on those to still put him in position to succeed. And he is a guy who's a great communicator, great leader, and I think that he has a really nice role ushering in the young generation of safeties while Justin Reid can kind of take over the veteran presence when Tyrann Mathieu's on the way. Like, I think that they set the safety group up really nicely, especially when you have Jonas Sanker and Jordan Howden in the mix as well. I think it's a really good setup. Hey, I mean, we went offense, we went defense, so I guess that's all right. No. Special teams, special plays, special players. Let's kick it over to the special team side of the football. Blake Grupe, he's your starting kicker. I don't anticipate much change there. Maybe Charlie Smith can unseat him, but for what it's worth, they do get an extra roster spot because Charlie Smith isn't a part of the International Pathway Program from Ireland. so he does not actually take up an extra spot on the practice squad. Matthew Hayball out of Vanderbilt. He was the punter last year, but he struggled mightily, especially down the stretch. However, he did limit returns, so James Burnap, the undrafted free agent out of Alabama, he's like over 6'2" or 6'3", something. It's unbelievable. He's huge. He could literally be a tight end if you wanted him in an emergency situation. Zach Wood, long snapper. No changes there. Oh, also for what it's worth, I think James Burnap has a very real chance to win this punter battle. And then Rashid Shaheed is your starting punt returner. He's your starting kick returner alongside Kendre Miller. But then you have Dante Pettis and Cedric Wilson as potential punt returns, as well as other guys like Dallas Bainham, Velus Jones Jr., and other players on the roster. And look, the rookies across the board, the draft picks, the undrafted free agents, they all have special teams versatility. And the same thing with a guy like Velus Jones Jr., same thing with guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So there are ways for some of these guys to carve out a spot on the roster. Will they do it? I don't know. Like I said about the punter situation, I do think James Burnap will win the punter battle. I think Matthew Hayball is on his way out. And this will be 3 years in a row where the Saints sign an Australian punter as an undrafted free agent, and that Australian punter takes over as the starting punter for the Saints in the regular season. So there you have it. Colin, 20-minute video. We went through the entire depth chart. Rate the Saints roster for me, Madden style, 1 to 99. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. We did it.
What's y'all's grades?
What do y'all think? What do y'all think? What's the how do you see the roster?
We got a lot of young, intriguing talent.
Dude, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, my whole thing is I'm not trying to sell Saints fans that the team's going to be amazing. They probably will not make the playoffs. That is 100% fair to say. They probably won't. But I'm not going to sell you on buy into the team. I'm going to sell you on be patient.
Buy into the future.
Buy into the future, not now. Buy into tomorrow. Buy into next year. Because next year, I'm telling you, things can be very different. Especially, what if Tyler Shough turns out to be an absolute rock star?
Yeah.
Sick? And guess what? If he doesn't, well, then you're probably primed to take a top 3 pick.
Yep.
You probably get whatever quarterback you wanted.
Yeah.
There's also this option.
Yeah.
You could just say 2 years of Shough. That sucks. Archie,
there you go.
Go get Arch.
There you go.
Go get Arch in 2 years. Like, that's also an option. You got to be thinking ahead. You can't be thinking about right now. You got to be thinking about the future. We are now in the state of the state of the Saints. The franchise. Shout out TJ Jones. The franchise is now in the situation we're thinking about the future, not about right now. You're not winning a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
But maybe in 5 years. Who knows?
Who knows?
All righty. Let's keep this rocking and rolling. What do y'all think? Brandon says 99. AFX is 46. Josh the Great says 71. Cheap Wrestler Fan says 69. Yo Small says, I'm from Buffalo. I'm a Saints fan. I'm just hoping we make the playoffs this year. My Madden rating is 80. What's going on, Kyron? Dark Knight, 84 to 88. Wayne, 67. Jartavius, 87. Michael, 78. U.S. Champ, 87. Wayne, 67. 81, 68. Isaac, I like the team. Isaac, cute care. RJ, 78. Josh, next year should be an offensive Jeff. I agree. I think you got to hit a bunch of weapons next year. Don't do trenches either. Go get all weapons. That would be ideal.
Yeah. Maybe add somebody to the cornerback room. I mean, look, there's some intriguing pieces, man.
Next year, go get me the number one at whatever position it is. Get me the best edge rusher. Get me the best running back. Give me the best receiver. Give me the best quarter. Like, if you can get the number one option at whatever position next year, that's what you should do, especially if it's offense. But if it's edge rusher, if it's corner, like, F it, dude. You got to do it. You got to you got to just get more talent on the roster.
You do. 100%.
All right, we're going to get in the mailbag here in a second. Hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. We've had a couple super chats coming already. So I got to say thank you to everyone who's supported the show so far. 113 likes so far, 140 people rocking and rolling. We've had almost 1,200 people tune into the show. Thank you guys so much for supporting, hanging out with us. Every single Wednesday, we go live for about an hour, hour and a half. So hang out, keep it rolling.
Need more questions.
I don't see anybody. Jerry, who's saying it's? What do you mean? Keep it clean in the chat, everyone. Who's not keeping it clean, Jerry? Colin, do you see anybody not keeping it clean? Cheap wrestler fan. He said 69. Oh, Jerry, dude, that's fine. That's fine, dude.
That's fine.
That's fine. It's just a number, bro. It's just a number.
Just a number. It was a troll.
It was a troll. He just said 69 when I asked what his Madden rating was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a troll. I think he was just answering the question and trying to be funny. To each their own, Jerry. For what it's worth, yes, keep it clean, but I don't think it hasn't been clean. So,
right,
Jerry, thank you, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
On paper, 78 could be an 83 with a big body receiver edition. I keep going back to it, Colin. Don't sleep on Bub. Don't sleep on Bub means. He's a dog.
There we go.
He's a dog. Alrighty.
Jaden, we do have your question there. We need more questions, though. Use hashtag Saints, or if you want to super chat and guarantee your place on the show.
If you have not used hashtag Saints yet to get on the show, what are you doing? Ask a question, share a hot take.
Yeah.
Jamie says, Tracy, I love your videos. Jeremy, you want to be a part of one? Use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. Kyron, I see yours. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Kyron.
Jamie, what's going on, man? Willie says 84. Wayne, got your question, brother?
Got it.
Jerry, I see what you're saying. I didn't see that. But thank you for taking care of business for me, man. All right, Larry, do you think we should... Larry, use hashtag Saints and ask that question.
Same with WSBG News.
WSBG, ask the question. Use hashtag Saints.
Otherwise, our software can't pick it up. We can't get on the show.
That's like it's not because I'm trying to make your life more difficult. I know some streamers use like StreamYard and stuff. You just have a question and it just pops up. We don't have that. We have an entirely different software. You have to use hashtag Saints, or that's the free way, or you can send it a donation, and that's the other way. If you don't do that, you don't get on the show. And it can't be hashtag space Saints and then whatever. It also can't be your question and then a couple of messages later, hashtag Saints, and that's it. You got to give me something to talk about. If you just put hashtag Saints, you're not getting on the show. If you use hashtag Saints and ask a question, we'll get you on. Or use a hot take. RJ, good stuff right there.
Yeah. And again, if we
trade Carr for a bag of Lay's potato chips.
Again,
yeah, at least get some Pringles, bro.
Again, if we start this and you guys think of a question, feel free to also send it in while we're doing the show, because it'll pick it up during the cut as well too.
Yep. You don't have to wait. You can get your questions in all day, every day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. Every day we lit. Every day we lit. Jerry G, being a legend, holding it down for us. Shout out to Jerry.
All right, I think
Brandon, that's a great question. Larry, that's a great question. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. And we'll clap it up. This is why the Saints fans are the freaking best. Ask for participation and they do it. That's electric. They deliver. Call Saints fans call the Who Dat Nation FedEx. Because when an order's placed, they deliver. Call them DoorDash. They deliver. All righty. Let's get into it. Saints mailbag. Wayne, ask a question. You're a Falcons fan. That's funny. There you go. All righty, let's get into it. Mailbag. Coming at you. What up, Saints fans? Y'all got questions? I got answers. We're going to be responding to hot takes and answering questions from our subscribers as a part of our weekly live show every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. So if you haven't tuned in to one of those, what the hell are you doing? Subscribe today, turn on your notifications. But if I missed your question or you're not able to tune in, that's A-okay. You can hit me up on social media, and I am glad to answer your questions, not only in the DMs, not just on the feed, but also here on YouTube. X, Instagram, TikTok, these are my usernames. All of the links to these accounts are in the comments and description of this video. I really appreciate everyone who follows me. I'm trying to grow my following and build my brand here. So if you haven't, help your boy out and follow me on social media. Let's go over to Queen Courtney. So if you guys haven't tuned in, Queen Courtney is royalty here. Type the crown emojis. What is actually being said about Carr in his week 1 status, and what is the actual plan at receiver as far as free agents? So this is a good question. Part 1 with Carr. What's actually being said, Colin, give me 20 seconds because I'm going to pull up my notes from the video earlier we did. So in terms of Derek Carr, Jane Slater, she reported that Derek Carr wants to avoid surgery on his injured shoulder because he did have a procedure already done on that before, prior to that injury. Carr has been to New Orleans twice in recent weeks to meet with the team doctors at the facility. The Saints are interested in doing what's best for the team, so if Carr's a part of that picture, they'll roll with Carr. But Carr also wants to do what's best for his shoulder, so surgery is something he wants to avoid, but he will do it if he has to. And the decision is expected to come, quote, sooner rather than later. In terms of why we're just now finding this stuff out, Jane Slater saying he didn't start meaningfully throwing the football until this spring as he ramped up for offseason work, and that's when he noticed it. Prior to that, he only threw a bit in a walkthrough with the fake football to injured players and Alvin Kamara during the 2024 season. He didn't really get a chance to come back and push it because the Saints got eliminated from playoff contention. So that's what's actually being said about Derek Carr in his week 1 status. I still think the Saints are going to end up cutting him. What's the plan for wide receiver? I think one of two things. One, have some faith in Bub Means. You do have a need at big body wide receiver. 2, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis. Those are some options as well. But Mickey Loomis did say they're not done adding to the roster, so we'll see what happens there. I do think they recognize that they need to get a big-bodied receiver because they did not address it in the draft. Queen Courtney is always great questions. Josh the Great, what's your prediction for next year's record? I hate this question. I hate this question so much because I can never stick with an answer. Even when we're like a week out, I change it. Colin. I'm going to set, I know Vegas has it at 5.5 wins. I think the Saints are going to shock some people. And I'm not saying I'm rooting for 7 wins because I actually think it would be the worst possible situation is 7 wins. But I think they could get there. I mean, I think the coaching staff's good enough to do it. Kellen Moore is a very, very smart coach. Brandon Staley, phenomenal defensive coordinator. The big thing with the Saints, though, is health. They got to stay healthy, and they got to be on the field. Bourbon Baby, excuse me. How is Asante Samuel still available? Hold on. That's a great question. I'm going to be honest. The fact that Asante Samuel is available is actually so shocking to me. I do know when it comes to Asante Samuel, he has a neck/shoulder injury, and he remains unsigned because there is a medical concern that's impacting teams' interest in him. According to Mike Garafolo, that's coming from him, the medical concern is related to the neck and shoulder injury that limited him to 4 games in 2024. A previous report said he's dealing with something similar to stinger symptoms, though lasting for months rather than weeks. So how is he? Well, because he's dealing with an injury. Should the Saints bring him in? If he clears medically, I'm all in. Now, would you sign Asante Samuel? Sign pass, or sign? Jeez, come on, Trizzy. Type sign or type pass in the comment section. And if you want to go a little above and beyond, explain why. Hey, Dark Knight. $20 super chat. What a freaking legend. I wish I had a beer here. I'd shotgun it for him. This may be a hot take, but if Tyler has a rookie season like Jaden did, I can see the Saints going for a great quarterback, elevates all of his weapons. I actually 100% agree with this take. What was one of the best things about Drew Brees? What was one of the best things about Tom Brady? What was one of the best things about name, insert, great quarterback ever? They can make a good player look great. That is what a great quarterback can do. And if Tyler Shough can make Chris Olave go from great to excellent, if he can make Kendre Miller look fantastic, if he can make Juwan Johnson look unbelievable, oh my goodness, you are in a phenomenal position. If Tyler Shough can be the guy, then the Saints are really, really set up for success. And they're set up for in a couple years to really not have a lot of money due to or owe to a lot of people, and they may really be able to cook something up and build something around Tyler Shough. I'm not saying they will do it. I want that very clear. I'm not saying they will. But I don't think we should just shut everything down and just say absolutely not. Maybe, just maybe, they can do it. Brandon Marr, if you had to guess who wins, guess right now who wins QB1. Tyler Shough. I think Tyler Shough will be the quarterback one. I think Spencer Rattler will have a very, very strong case for himself. However, Kellen Moore is the coach that drafted Tyler Shough. Dennis Allen and Clint Kubiak drafted Spencer Rattler. So in that regard, there is loyalty from Kellen Moore to Shough that isn't there from Kellen Moore to Rattler. Rattler has a lot of fans in the building and in the front office especially, so that's worth noting. Not like he's just going to heel over and not get an opportunity. With Rattler, though, I think he's fighting an uphill battle. Tyler Shough also carries the second-round quarterback label. So for that reason, I think that the quarterback one will actually be Tyler Shough. Brandon Cohn, what's going on, my friend? When are you going to have the face of the franchise, a.k.a. James Scametta, on? I like to think I might be one of the faces of the franchise. Come on. I like to think I'm one of the faces of the franchise. We're talking. I've actually been DMing with James. We're trying to figure out something, trying to find some fun content to do. His schedule is busy. My schedule is busy. Would you believe it or not? Two of the best content creators in the game have busy schedules. Crazy, right? Yeah, we're working on getting it going, but stop throwing shade my way. I think I'm one of the faces. Come on. I love James, but come on, look at this handsome mugshot right here. Just kidding. Just shuck it real good. Da, 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 da. That's a really good name. Whoever this is, I hope you tune in every single week to our live show. Hot take, Chris Olave will score 10 touchdowns this season. I actually put out a tweet that said hot take. He'll score 8 touchdowns. A lot of people were like, wow, you said a hot take, and then you proceeded to give the most mild take ever. I'm like, yeah, that was by design. I wanted to make you mad. That was you. Congratulations. You did what I wanted. Yeah, no, I wanted to put 10 on the tweet for what it's worth, but I thought it would be funnier to pick the most average number you could possibly pick. Yeah, it's like, oh, my God, that's just so funny. 10 touchdowns? Hell yeah. First thing, he has to stay healthy. That's the big one. He has to stay healthy. But with Kellen Moore scheming up plays to appeal to the strengths of his roster, Chris Olave being one of those big strengths, that's a big thing here. Quarterback play has to be good. Chris Olave has to be available. O-line hopefully can give time to the quarterback to toss the pill. That being said, I don't think 10 touchdowns is too outlandish. It'd be pretty cool. I'd love to see it. And I think he's due for a bunch of touchdowns because last year, obviously, very limited action. Now, how many TDs for Chris Olave next season? We have a thing here on Saints Now during the watch party. Whenever we score a touchdown, we like to lift our shirts and yell, show us those TDs. So how many times are we going to be throwing Mardi Gras beads this year for Chris Olave? 12 for 12? That'd be sick. You know what else is sick? This hat. And I'm not going to stop telling you about it because I love this hat. And you can get this hat for 25% off. The only way you can get this hat, though, for 25% off is if you use our link, chatsports.com/SaintsHats. So if you want to get this bitchin' hat, it's khaki. It matches everything. It's perfect for the summer. You want to go and have some brews on the patio. You hitting Bourbon Street. You're going to a beer garden with your lady. Hey, this hat's going to take care of business for you, make you look extra fly. I want to see it. Hold on. Does it look good with this outfit? Does it look good in this outfit? What do y'all think? Chatsports.com/SaintsHat. Link is in the comments and description of this video. Jaden, what's happening, my friend? Who is your dream player you want the Saints to add in free agency? And who's the dream player you want to trade for? I mean, free agency, I think the best thing you can do right now is Keenan Allen. I'm going to throw another one on the dartboard here, though, just for the shit of it, Colin. Shout out to Ross Jackson for this one. Teddy Bridgewater. Bring me Teddy 2 gloves. That'd be awesome. Especially if you cut Derek Carr. You're going to need a quarterback like that. Now, trade? Trey Hendrickson would be sick. That would be a lot of fun. Kayvon Thibodeau could be really interesting. He's a very young pass rusher. He's kind of the odd man out in New York. Very, very good player there. Jalen Ramsey, maybe. I'm not in a dream situation, but definitely one I would like. I'm not really that interested in Tyreek Hill. Am I missing anybody? Like, it feels like there's not a lot of juicy names on the trade block right now. Kenneth Walker, maybe. Cole Kmet. I would say maybe Dallas Goedert, but the Eagles gave him a new contract, so no. He's off the board. I'm going to say dream. Let's go Kayvon Thibodeau, Trey Hendrickson, or insert star wide receiver. I don't care who. Just insert star wide receiver. Wayne's World. What's going on? Any wide receiver you wish the Saints would have picked up. In the draft, I would have loved to. I'm just really mad that they didn't walk away with one of Tet McMillan, Jack Besh, Savion Williams, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Jalen Royals. I'm really mad that they didn't pick up one of those guys in the draft. Free agency, I mean, it wasn't the sexiest free agent class in wide receivers, especially with T. Higgins not really ever being on the market. So in terms of like that situation, I'm honestly not that mad they didn't sign any big name wide receivers. I do like Brandin Cooks for what it's worth. I did think that was a fun reunion, and I thought it was not a bad move. Not very cheap. Why is nobody talking about Jake Haener? I believe in Joe Hendry. Nobody's talking about Jake Haener, but everyone's talking about Joe Hendry. I just think that he's the odd man out, man. I think that he's a player that just has not made the most of the opportunities he's had. And that's not to say he didn't give it a good shot. It's not to say he can't be a good backup, but I will say I think right now the starting quarterback position is either going to be centered around Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough. The plan right now is one of those two. Derek Carr, if he's around, Jake Haener's getting cut. That's just how it is. But I just think he's the odd man out. The Saints did trade up to go get him a couple years ago, but I just don't see how it happens. For what it's worth, this my dream situation, and it has nothing to do with these people as human beings. It has nothing to do with Jake Haener or Derek Carr as human beings or as men. It has everything to do with the fact that the Derek Carr and Fresno State cult is the most obnoxious thing on Twitter, and I am so tired of dealing with it. I'm so tired of hearing about it. So if we have an offseason where we can get rid of Jake Haener and Derek Carr, oh my God, that is heaven. Larry, do you think we should start Banks at left tackle, Fuaga at right tackle, and Penning at guard? Look, I honestly don't think you need to kick Penning into guard. I'd actually suggest maybe you put Banks in at guard. I just think when it comes to Trevor Penning, you're running a big risk when you have a player that you drafted purely based off of traits and off of the potential. I think it's very risky to try and teach him another new position. I'm not going to sit here and vouch for that. I think you're better off maybe kicking Kelvin Banks inside. Keep Talese Fuaga at right or at left tackle, Trevor Penning at right tackle, and there you go. But if you do, then I do think it makes sense to kick Penning inside, Banks at left tackle. That's where he played at his college football, and Fuaga at right tackle. That's where he played all of his college football. So I actually am in the camp of don't move Penning inside, kick Banks actually inside. But the big thing for me is I just want to see the best 5 offensive linemen on the field. So if that means Dillon Radunz is the guard, then that's what that means. Now, I want to encourage you, subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We go live every single Wednesday. Anytime there's sort of breaking news, we're here to break it down for you. It's Saints content by fans for fans. I hope y'all enjoyed today's show. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. Boom. Did I nail that Joe Hendry turn? I really thought I did. I was really.
You guys came up with really creative names.
Yeah, y'all were great. Darius says Trizzy, James, and Ross are the top 3 in Saints media easily. Ah, man, you're a legend. Jerry says you got to get Ross Jackson on the show. Jerry, I've had him on the show already. He's been on the show before. He was on the show at the Super Bowl. Whenever we were down at Rodeo Row in New Orleans, I had my good friend Ross join the program. I actually have been texting Ross a little bit here and there. I'm wanting to see if he wants to come back on sometime during the summer. After minicamp and everything. I want to just chop it up and see how he's doing. Also, I'm trying to see what's up with John. Want to get him on the show. I love John Hendricks. A big fan of his content. Nick Underhill would love to bring him on. Working on that. Little secret time. Barstool Mincy. For those of you who don't know, Mincy, he follows me on social media. I hit him up, so we're going to try and see if we can get him on the program.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be fun.
That's so
to
lit.
get Mincy on the show. I think that would be absolutely electric. So we're trying to get some things in the works here. We're trying to get some good things in the works here.
Yeah,
and
me, we're always trying to.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying we're always trying.
Yeah, we're cooking up something special. The support we've received up till this point in time in my career at Chat Sports has been truly remarkable, and it's been so appreciated. That being said, job ain't finished. We're trying to give y'all some great content. I am talking to Jono. Don't worry about Jono. That's my guy. Him and I are boys. We collabed a little bit on some content in New Orleans as well. But I've been talking with Jono. We're trying to figure something out. Basically, let me put it this way. If you name a Saints content creator, I am trying to collab with them. I have reached out or I'm in conversations with just about every one of them. So, yeah, shout out Jono, shout out Ross, shout out John, shout out Chris, shout out Nick, shout out Mike, shout out Kat, shout out Aaron, shout out formerly Brooke. Who else am I missing? Shout out Matt Moscona. Shout out T-Bob. Like, we're trying to get as many things as we can cooked up. Who Dat Nation, though? Bow chicka wow. I got date night to get to, so I'm hopping out of here. TJ Jones. Yeah, I don't know how I missed TJ. That's my dog. I was on TJ Jones. He was my homie on his show a while back. Cannot wait to get him on the program. But I got date night, so that's why your boys dripped out in a polo and in my Chubby's polo. I got to get going. My girl Maddie really wants to see old Triz. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.